No one trying to encourage you to be in relationship with them. No distractions. If you are going to take this great step in your life, there must be no distractions. If you are in a relationship with someone now, you may have to withdraw for a period of time. If they can support this, that is good. If they cannot support it, then you know that they will not be able to take this journey with you, regardless of your affection for each other, regardless of what you have created together. Fundamentally, they will not move in the direction in which you must now move, and there is nothing you can do about it. This is where knowledge becomes your first responsibility. Before, you were giving your life away to other people. You were giving your life away to your own desires. You were giving your life away to your own fears. You were giving your life away to what the culture was telling you that you should be, do and have. But now you are allowing knowledge within yourself to set the direction, to set the boundaries, to say yes to this and no to that, to give you clarity, to give you back to yourself and to give you a direction and steps to follow. For some people, this will be the most difficult threshold, and many will not pass through this threshold. They will turn away from knowledge. They will turn away from the signs of the world and the signs of their own deeper experience to protect what they have, to please the one they are trying to please, to hold on to their financial security, to hold on to their social position. They will fall back into the shadows, and knowledge will remain latent within them, waiting for the moment when it might emerge again, waiting for the time when they will question their assumptions, their attachments and their commitments. But for you, you must establish this foundation within yourself before you can commit yourself to anyone or anything. Your first priority is to become strong with knowledge and to engage yourself in a deep evaluation about your life, relationships and activities. In your heart, you know this to be true. If you feel you have been alone and have done this evaluation, and yet you do not have a clear direction, if you do not know what steps to follow, then you have not really done this. You have just been alone. Perhaps you are not asking the right questions or listening deep enough for the power and presence of knowledge within yourself. Perhaps you are not looking at the great waves of change. Perhaps the idea of humanity's emergence into the greater community had never occurred to you, or you only thought about it occasionally. Whatever the case may be, the deep evaluation must be deep enough to be effective. It must be substantial, and it must show you what is coming over the horizon of the world, for this will give you certainty. This will give you motivation, for you will realize you cannot stay where you are. You are not living in the past anymore. The world that you are accustomed to will change dramatically. You cannot rest on any former presumptions or assurances. There is no safe and secure place to hide from the vicissitudes of life now. If you can face this, you will gain courage. If you can face this without denial, without preference, without projecting your own ideas, hopes and wishes, you will gain clarity and objectivity. Courage, clarity and objectivity, so rare they are in the human experience, and yet so absolutely necessary to provide certainty, direction and balance in one's life. It is better to be with one person who will encourage you than it is to have a whole host of friends and family around you who have no idea what is moving your life. You must face this. You must have the strength to say no to others. You must have the courage to carry on the deep evaluation of your life. Otherwise, you will not know yourself. You will not know your experience. And you will be too afraid to look out over the horizon. This is the condition of so many people, especially the wealthy people. They really do not want to look out on the horizon. Most of them are too afraid of how they must change, what they must let go of, what they must reconsider, so engulfed they are in their pursuit of happiness and pleasure, wealth and power. It is very sad. Their wealth has done nothing for them and, in fact, has made them weaker and less able to respond to life. Therefore, do not envy them. Their tragedy is not something you want to have. In the future, owning a lot of things will be a real burden. Having great wealth will be a real burden. How will you protect it? How much will it govern your life? The great waves will create a set of circumstances that will make being very wealthy extremely hazardous, with all those hungry faces looking at you. No, that is not the way. You will need great companions in the way of knowledge. You will need others who are strong enough to face the great waves of change and who are willing to begin to look ahead at the greater community and humanity's future and destiny there. You must have others who are beginning to take the same kind of journey you are taking. This is not about romance and marriage now. That may come later. That is not the emphasis now. Break the addiction to romance. Do not become sexually engaged with anyone during this initial period. Do not give yourself away to anyone. You will have to bring everything to bear here, all of your attention. It must be the great focus of your life. That is how serious it is, and that is what is required. In time, others will come to join you. You will be tempted by romance. You will be tempted by relationship, beauty, charm and wealth. They will all still have certain degrees of attraction for you. But knowledge within you will not be impressed at all by them and will not respond to them. And the stronger you are with knowledge, the more immune you become to these seductions and attractions. But you are not there yet. You must take this journey to gain that strength, that immunity and that freedom. Oh, what a freedom it is to be free from seduction. When you are free, everyone else looks like they are in chains, like they are slaves to their wishes, their desires, their fears and their inappropriate engagements with other people. But to gain this freedom requires a kind of struggle within yourself and real self-determination. Beyond this fear of your personal relationships, you will need to gain the expertise of people who are looking at the great waves, people who have different skills, different talents, different professions. You will need to learn about the great waves, what they really mean, how they are unfolding. What are the possible outcomes for humanity? You must do this with as much objectivity as possible. It does not have to become an obsessive investigation, but it is part of your education overall. Therefore, you will have to become a student of the world as well as a student of knowledge, studying what is really important. What is really important for you to study now, regarding the world in all of its conflicts and distractions, all of its seductions and tragedies. What should you be looking for there? There are a few things that are important. You must become aware of situations around the world regarding the availability of food and water. You must become aware of changes in climate and its effect upon food production in the world and its effect upon the well-being of people in both urban and rural environments. You must be aware of political and economic instability and how it is manifesting in certain places. You must be aware of the outbreaks of pandemic illnesses. And you must be aware of conflicts that continue to exist and conflicts that may emerge in the future. When you look at the world, look for these things. Just bear witness to them and see if there are any signs. Not everything you will look at is important. Not everything you look at will be a sign. You look and you watch with knowledge, which is looking without preference or judgment. It is just looking. You listen without preference or judgment. It is just listening. If you find a real sign, it will impress itself upon you particularly. It will not just be an emotional response of sadness or grief, remorse or anger. It will be something that will ring within you. That is important. Write it down, what you heard, where you heard it, how it impressed you. And stay with that. For a sign is more important than stimulation. You look for the signs. You do not have to become an expert in any of these areas. You do not have to study them in depth. But you need to look into them for the signs. For the signs will tell you how quickly the great waves are approaching. They will tell you how much time you have to carry out the things that you are trying to do even right now. Like the animals in the field and the birds in the air, you are watching and listening for changes in your environment. While others continue to be preoccupied and self-obsessed, carefree and careless, you must pay attention, and that is why there can be no competition for your attention now. Romance and relationship must wait. You must create space within your mind to listen, to look and to learn. You must slow your life down so that you can listen, look and learn. Beginning steps to knowledge will teach you how to still your mind and how to listen more deeply within your own experience, looking for the signs. It is your relationship with knowledge now that is so fundamental and that must take precedence over any other relationship that you have. Even your children who will stay with you, even they cannot interfere with your relationship with knowledge. The more that you build this relationship, the more you will be able to share it with your children and encourage it in them. For you can never be too young to learn about knowledge, to learn how to recognize your deeper experience and be true to yourself. This is the way that God has laid out. It has always been this way. Religion and all of its emphasis and tragedy, the infusion of culture and history and the manipulation of leaders and institutions have not changed the fundamental nature of God's revelation, which is knowledge within the individual and, through knowledge, contribution to the world. It is fundamental. This is at the heart of every religion. Take away the miracles, take away the pageantry, take away the institutional guidelines, and you have the mystery of knowledge within yourself, waiting to be discovered. Now the world is calling for this, for great waves of change are upon the world, and humanity is now facing intervention from the greater community itself. The world is forcing an advancement in human evolution. The world is calling knowledge out of you, and it must respond. This is the power of your time, and it will give you work to do that will be fundamental and necessary, both within yourself and in the world.